starting with the Ideas That Ignite video submission updates in just 1 minute. We're going live on the Ideas That Ignite page, so just bear with me for 5, 4, 3, 2, and what is up, party people? Woo! Storytelling tip Thursdays fully in full effect. Yo, just a heads up, if you are on Instagram, you might be hearing a little bit of a buzz in the background. That's because my computer is just like, it's lit today. Something's up with the computer. It's acting kind of crazy. So if you are on Instagram, if you're hearing any type of like weird, fuzzy background noise, you might just want to jump over to the Ideas That Ignite page on Facebook. All right, just a heads up. All right, so those of you on Facebook, what is up? What's up, my people? It is, as you know, my favorite day of the week, Storytelling Tip Thursdays. And this is actually going to be rounding out our 10-week series of tips brought to you by yours truly, and really just getting prepared for what is going to be an amazing fall and an even better 2021 as we start to bring to light your ideas, your stories. So amped to have y'all here. Who's in the house? Who we got in the house over here on Facebook? Happy Thursday. Woohoo! Thank you. So just as a heads up, I don't know who you are on Facebook. What happens on my end is I'm in a broadcast studio. So in order for me to know who you are, you have to actually give StreamYard permission. So somewhere in the box up above says, hey, grant StreamYard permission to see your name. Otherwise, you just kind of, you look like this to me, which is awesome, but I would love to know who you are. It's saying happy Thursday. And yes, that sun is real. I'm in San Jose, California. It is about 97 degrees here today. Hot. So I'm a little bit sweaty, but you know what? I got my agua. I got my pup hanging out with me. Yo, we got Devin in the house. So what's up, Devin? I see you, brother. I know you're ready to rock it. All right. So Maxine. Oh, Maxine. Lovely. Girlfriend, go ahead and add your little face to the StreamYard so I can actually show your face on my screen. And hi, Facebook user. Man, do we got a party going on today? All right. So y'all ready to rock this? I'm super excited to share what we have in store for you today. So today, we are going to be going over some of the top tips and tricks in order to share your 1-minute video. Now, why is this critical? Why is this important? Why is this important? I'm laughing because whoever it was that misspelled my name with a D-A-W, they said, they hate autocorrect, D-A-W-N. Yeah, I got you. I got you, Facebook user, whoever you might be. All right, so anyway, this is critical. This is a critical part of putting together your TED application. And as somebody who has gone through the process multiple times, I'm super excited to share with you a couple of videos that really stand out. They really stand out for a bunch of different reasons. I'm going to be sharing with you what are they doing in these videos that really make them work. Okay, so if you want to be able to join me in the studio, you'll notice on the Facebook comments there's a little button that says join me in the studio. If you want to show your name, then that's up above in the description for today's event that says grant StreamYard permission to see your face. Okay, so before we dig into today, what's up, Natasha? I see your face, girl. Yes. What's up, my money savvy sister? All right. So before we dig into today, I got a couple of things that I got to share with you because I'm super amped about what is coming next week. Next week, y'all. Next week is going to be our first ever 5-day Ideas That Ignite mini summit. That's right, the Ideas That Ignite mini summit. Now, what is this all about? This is going to be the week to get all the information that you need. Well, most of the information that you need in order to figure out what do you want to do with your stories going into 2021. What do you want to do with your stories going into 2021? Because there's a lot that you can do. In my own personal case, I turned my stories into a speaking career. I also turned my stories into a TED Talk. And then I was able to amplify my own stories when I'm utilizing them in coaching and other types of forms of communication and trainings. So next week is going to really allow you to know what is it that you want to be able to do with your story. So before we dig into it, I just want to give you like a quick rundown of the lineup, because it's going to help you understand what we're doing in terms of today and how the submissions that you are going to send to me will be part of next week's mini summit. Okay, so excellent. I just want to share with you. I want to share with you the summit. Okay, so give me one quick second. So I pulled up some tabs here on my, here we go. Yes. Give me one quick second. Make sure that that's all set. Yep. Awesome, looking good. Okay. Let me just go back to y'all on Facebook. Okay, great. So I'm going to share with you my screen, and this is the lineup of what's happening next week and how today's video submissions will tie in directly to what we're going into next week. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Find for you all the right tab. Here we go. Awesome. So this is the main page for the Ideas That Ignite 5-day mini summit from October 5th to October 9th. I mean, look at these amazing, beautiful faces, right? 5 days to craft, amplify, and leverage your TED-worthy idea. So these are the speakers that we got going on. First up, Chloe Shasha. She is the speaker curator at TED. The speaker curator at TED. Oh, hold up a second. Let me make sure that I am fully sharing my screen properly. Okay, I'm gonna make this full screen. There we go. Okay, so she is the content curator over at TED. And I had a great conversation with her because I didn't realize that she was actually at my TED event in 2013. She at the time was like coming up in the ranks of TED. And so she actually saw my own talk. So I thought that was like super cool. And she is going to be breaking down all kinds of different things, like what is the difference between TED Med, TED Ed, some of the different TED that you might have seen at corporations, which ones can you apply to, TED Women, which I think takes place on the same day across the nation. So there's a bunch of different iterations. So we're going to be talking about like, what are the different iterations of TED? What does she look for in speakers? How does the selection process happen? And what do you really need to do in order to like make sure that you're just like on her radar, right? I mean, it's not only her, of course, it's a team, but she is one of the first people that I'm really excited about to be able to bring into next week's training. So after that, we have Daphne LeBlanc, which is right here. Daphne has been able to utilize social media in a way that I have never seen. Like, she is really able to like take anything, any type of content, any type of idea, put it in social, all the different social platforms, and find people that will hire her to speak on stages. I think it was a couple of years ago, she was able to like book herself solid on a tour. And the reason why this is important is because, kind of going back to Chloe for a quick second, when I talked to Chloe, when I asked her, where do you find speakers? She says that she goes to other conferences. She goes to other conferences, they vet out speakers. So even if you are in the process of getting ready to like really like amp yourself up, amp up your story, you might want to go and try out your idea or your message on other stages. So Daphne will show you how you can use social media to find these gigs, to book them, and just to like really leverage your content. Shannon Kaysen. Shannon Kaysen is like one of my homies. We actually met through the Moth many, many years ago. He was hosting an event in Chicago that I was performing at. And Shannon has probably one of the most riveting stories that I've heard. I don't want to give too much of it away, but basically, let's just say that he went from gambling to gangsta. Not gangsta in a bad way, gangsta in a hella good way. All right. So I know a lot of you all are storytellers in this group. So I wanted Shannon to share what he's been able to do with his story, how he was able to pivot that into a TEDx talk, and then how he was able to pivot that into a 6-figure storytelling focused business. All right. So that's Shannon. And as I mentioned, I think a little bit earlier, is Felicia Jones. And Felicia Jones is from I Find, You Close. All right. You tell her who you are, what you're all about. She finds gigs for you and you close them. All right. But on top of that, the sister is also a 2-time TEDx speaker. She has like all kinds of insights about how to find who's on the selection committee, what they're looking for. So for example, if you're an environmentalist, there might be certain cities that you might want to target. Or if you are an alumni of a certain school, you might want to target those kind of schools. So that's Felicia. So those are the 4 people that I'm bringing into the mix. In addition, my friends, to myself. So on the 3rd day of the summit, I'm going to get to the full agenda in just a second, but on the 3rd day of the summit, I am going to be taking your 1-minute video auditions and turning that into basically a case study. Like what's working in this person's idea? What's working in this person's pitch? What's not working? What might be able to be tweaked? Because here's the thing. When I put together my audition, I think I took like 30, if not 40 different takes. And I know that might be even a low number for some people, before I actually got the 1 minute down pat. So today I want to work with you on like, what are those different elements that are really needed in your pitch? And then on Wednesday of next week, I'm actually going to be like streaming those live, showing some of the videos, showing what you can tweak, and then going from there. Okay. If you want to keep your video submission to me private, that's perfectly fine. If you want to have it public, that's also fine. At the end of today, I'm going to be talking about how you can actually submit those to me so that we can have those up for the Ideas That Ignite Summit next week. Okay. So if you're interested in checking all this stuff out, this is the main webpage, ideasthatIgnite.co. Okay. A little bit about the summit. We'll be kicking it off next week, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. if you are in the Mountain Zone, and 3 p.m. if you're in the Central Zone. I think I got those 2 correct, right? Mountain Central? Yeah. Awesome. Good. Cool. If you want some more information about the topics, here they are. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Some of the things we just talked about. These are our speakers. These are a little bit more about our speakers. So if you want to find out who they are, you can scroll to that on this part of the page. This is a little bit more about me. And this is how you can sign up. Now, this is the cool part about the summit. The summit is whatever you want to pay. Whatever you want to pay. And you know what? The money is mostly going to our speakers. I really believe in paying speakers and paying for people's time and for investing in this community. So, for the past 10 weeks, all of these storytelling tip sessions have been free. If you're just now joining us, welcome to the crew. Check out the media tab on the Ideas That Ignite page, and you'll be able to see all the different 10 sessions that we've been through. But the whole series has been absolutely free. But I would love to be able to provide something for our speakers and for some of this back-end tech stuff. So if you would love to provide a donation, I saw some of you already did this morning. You know who you are. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for jumping in and submitting a donation. If you would like to do so also, you can do that right here at the bottom of the screen. You'll see a simple little cart, your first name, last name. Name your price. You can name 0, you can name 50 cents, you can name $1,000. $1,000 would be kind of gangster. That would be hot. All right. So anyways, you can check all that out on the Ideas That Ignite page. Okay. Awesome. So let me just make sure that we are good. Awesome. Poonam. Oh, that's Poonam. Hey, Poonam. Yo, I know that we were talking also about your idea. So I'm interested in checking it out. I'm interested in checking it out. DM me. All right. So here we go. So today I want to be able to share with you a couple of different videos that actually have been submitted and accepted to TED. Submitted and accepted to TED. Now, here's what we're going to be, oops, sorry, forgot to bring myself back on screen. So here's what we're going to be like looking at today. There's a couple of key things that we want to be able to do when we're putting together our videos and as we're actually, doing them. The first thing, the very, very first thing that we want to keep in mind is that we want to be able to distill your idea. Okay, so a 1-minute video is more or less about 150 words. 150 words. So if you're the kind of person that likes to script out what you're going to say, that's about as much real estate as you have, about 150 words. If you're the kind of person who likes to wing it, like I did during mine, I didn't wing it, but I winged it about 40 times until I kind of got the flow of what I was trying to say. Then you're going to want to be able to kind of practice it a few times until you really distill down to one main idea. Okay, one main idea. Now, in order to do this, there's a couple of tricks that you want to think about in the distilling of the idea. You want to be able to share basically what is the question? What is the question that you are answering? Okay, so you want to be able to elaborate upon the question. But when you get to the answer, just give a little bit of a snippet of what the answer to this question might be, or what you see as the answer to this question might be. Now, why are you elaborating upon the question but only giving a snippet of the answer? Well, I want you to think about what it feels like when you see a really good movie trailer, right? When you see a really good movie trailer, you see kind of like the highlights, the highlight reel of what's happening, right? But it piques your attention. It piques your attention enough where you are going to want to go and actually go check out that film or go buy it, right? So we want to be able to think of yourself as almost like a director when you're putting together your 1-minute audition video. Distill your idea down to something really simple. Like I said in previous videos, if you can keep it to one sentence in your mind, then when you articulate it, you'll be able to distill it down to something very succinct and concrete. Okay? But keep in mind that the idea is only one component of your 1-minute video or of anything else that you're going to be submitting. The second thing that you're going to want to think about is, what is the scene? What is the scene or the moment? Now, this ties directly back into your story. Those of you who are on this call, you may have been inspired by something that happened in your life, a story, a moment, an experience, and from that came your idea, right? In my own case, the moment that I was coming back to was when I was at UCLA and I was an injured athlete, really wanting to compete, but I couldn't compete. But there was this moment where my twin brother Dwayne was coming to compete at the UCLA Olympics, right? There was this moment. I'm going to share with you my video in just a moment. For those of you who haven't seen it, I've played it previously, but I'm going to play it again and show you what that scene is. What is that moment? And as we look at the other videos I'm about to share, I want you to also think about what is the scene or what is the moment that they are pulling out, and how does that directly relate to their idea? Okay. What's up, Leilani, coming in from Spain? Yes, I see you over on Instagram. Okay. So far, the things that we want to think about: want to distill your idea into into something really concrete. I should mention, I'm sorry, 150 words is for the entire 1 minute, not just for the entire video, not just for the idea. Okay, I should clarify that. Sharing your scene, sharing a scene or a moment. Okay. The third thing we're going to want to think about is why now? Why now? So often when TED is like looking, or TEDx is looking for something, it's going to want to be timely, right? Right, Terrence? You understand what I'm saying? You want to be timely with the things that you're actually presenting to them. So one of the questions I asked Chloe in our preparation was, if somebody has an idea now about coronavirus and they want to wait until the virus is done to actually be on a live stage, is that an option? She said, yes, but. Yes, but. Not yes and, like many of you might know about in improv, but yes, but. And the yes, but was the fact that they also, TED being this particular scenario, they have the authority to decide, like, what is going to go onto their stage, what's going to go onto TED.com. So if it's no longer timely, it may not necessarily be relevant. So these are some of the things we're going to be talking about in my discussion with Chloe. But when you put together your idea and your submission, you're going to want to think about, like, why is this important now? And some of the ways that you can kind of get around this, if it's nothing that's like, if it's not like a virus or something that's happening in the news. One of the things that you can look at are, like, what are events that are happening around the calendar or around the world? So in my case, March 21st is National Down Syndrome Awareness Day. I was able to plug that into my audition video as part of something to think about, because that was the last day of the conference. So if something is not like pressing now, like in terms of in the news, think about what other events in the world are happening that might make it seem more relevant, more timely, more issue-based and specific to this moment. Okay, so that's number 3. That's the thing that they're going to think about. The fourth thing that we want to think about is scripting and recording. Scripting and recording. So one of the things that we want to be able to see is, like, really simple language, and recording in a way that is like, it's you. It doesn't have to have like a green screen. It doesn't have to have all these, like, banners, that kind of stuff. Really simple, clean recordings of what it is that you're trying to say. Really simple, clean recordings of what you want to say. Some of you like to script, some of you don't. I talked a little bit about that last week, so you can check out that recording in terms of the benefits and the downfalls to scripting versus not. So you might want to check that out. The 5th point of 6 is use clear language. Use clear language. Now, a lot of you might be known as industry experts. You might be known in your field of, I don't know, real estate investors or financial literacy experts or race relations experts, right? And there is a terminology that you use amongst your colleagues. Don't use that jargon in your idea, because keep in mind that as you're talking to the public, not everyone's going to be in your industry. Not everyone's going to understand what the hell you're talking about if you're using jargon. So use really simple, crisp language. Really simple, crisp language when you're putting together your idea. Okay? And last but not least, be you. Be you. This is one of those things that I talk about all the time. I miss you too, Leilani. I really do. I'm trying to make my way out to Spain to see you, sister. But so many times I get questions from people like, hey, how do I make this funny? Or, how do I really kind of like engage with my voice, and how do I like make my voice higher or lower to seem more important, right? Don't worry about none of that. Don't worry about none of that. Be you, because they're going to see this in the audition. And when you get on stage, that's all you can be, is you. All right. So those are my 6 tips in summary format. But we're going to go through this a little bit more in detail as we look at some of the videos that have been submitted and accepted into TED. Okay? Y'all ready to do this? All right. Give me a thumbs up or a hell yeah or something in the chat if y'all ready to do this, if y'all ready to check out some videos. Can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a rock on? Throw me an emoji, throw me in a fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. All right. Sorry, I got excited. Like I said, it's kind of hot here today, so I'm just kind of burning up. Thank you. Thank you, Terrence. You rock, brother. By the way, if you're interested, we are going to be showing some videos in the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group. You'll be able to hear it on Instagram, no problem. But if you actually want to see the videos, they're going to be in the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group, right? Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I got a fire. I got a fire. Hell yeah. Is that you, Poonam? I appreciate the fire, my sister. All right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Natasha. All right. Let's do this. Let's play some videos. So give me a second to share my screen. Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to stop that sharing. And instead, I'm going to share this. Okay. So the first video that I want to share is from a gentleman by the name of Zach Ibrahim. This is not his real name. This is not his real name, and you'll understand why it's not his real name in just a moment. Zach and I spoke on the stages of TED in New York City in 2013. So, so this was submitted, this was accepted. Zach, I don't know if I should tell you like the amazing things that happened after Zach spoke at TED at New York City, before or after. I'm gonna play for you the video. All right, I'm gonna play for you the video, and then we'll talk about all the amazing things that happened after Zach was on the stages along with me. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start that again. Now, keep in mind some of the things that we just mentioned. He's going directly into who he is, right? Let me back this up. I'm going to start it all over again. Ready? Here we go. 1 minute.
Luckily, when I came of age, the experiences in my life directly contradicted my father's extremist ideology. Through exposure to people who were different from me, I was able to see the world as it was, and not through the lens of bigotry and intolerance. With my stories, I hope to show that if I can choose a peaceful, non-violent path, then anyone can. I am not my father. And with that simple fact, I stand here as proof that violence isn't inherent in one's religion or race, nor is it mandated that the son must follow the ways of his father. We need to break these cycles of violence in order to make this world a better place for the ones we love. Hello, my name is...
Whoops. 1 minute, right? We need to break. What was this last line?
Or is it mandated that the son must follow the ways?
Let's back up just a tad to get to the idea that Zach is spreading here. You hear it all good, Terrence? You hear it all good, Joy? I think that the first part of it may have cut out for you all on Instagram. So I'm actually going to rewind this one and play it one more game. One more game, okay? Here we go.
Hello, my name is Zach Ibrahim, and I am the son of a convicted terrorist. At a very young age, I was taught to judge a person's character by their race, religion, and sexual orientation. Luckily, when I came of age, the experiences in my life directly contradicted my father's extremist ideology. Through exposure to people who were different from me, I was able to see the world as it was, and not through the lens of bigotry and intolerance. With my stories, I hope to show that if I can choose a peaceful, non-violent path, then anyone can. I am not my father, and with that simple fact, I stand here as proof that violence isn't inherent in one's religion or race, nor is it mandated that the son must follow the ways of his father. We need to break these cycles of violence in order to make this world a better place for the ones we love.
You got that okay, Terrence? Yeah, I hope so. Awesome. Facebook. What do you all think? Let me go back to y'all over here on StreamYard. What do you all think? Oops. Let me get rid of this banner. What do you all think? What did you all notice about Zach's presentation for this video? Did you see how he started off with, he is the son of a terrorist, right? Caught your attention right away. He shared a little bit about his story, about how he learned that that not to judge others by race, and he leaned into this idea that he did not need to follow within the steps of the Father, right? Right? Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. And this got across everything that the committee needed in 1 minute. In 1 minute. So what I want you to think about, if you go back over this video and if you replay it, is I want you to think about these different components that we talked about, right? How did he distill his idea? What was the main idea that he was getting across? How did he focus on the question, but not quite elaborate upon the answer? We talked about what the answer might be, but he didn't fully go into the answer itself. You could kind of tell that this was probably scripted and then recorded, just very simply, right? Why now? Whew. Why now? I mean, it was timely because of course, like in 2013, there was still a lot that was going on. There was still a lot going on in the world. But I'd be interested to hear from you all. Why do you think that why now? Why was this important to the people who were presenting it and those who accepted it? Realized that he did not use any jargon. He was very clear, very simple, and he was very much himself, right? Very much himself. So that was Zach. So Terrence says, yes, he was very clear and understandable. With the tension of the country and white supremacy threatening our nation, on voting, how do we remain clear on denouncing, I'm assuming denouncing racism? Right. And keep in mind, Terrence, that this was like from 7 years ago. So even though that the issues that you're alluding to right now are current, this has been happening for like a long time, right? I'm sure many of you people of color know that systemic violence and racism have been happening for a long time. And the bombing that he was referring to, I believe it was the Oklahoma City bombing. I could be wrong. I need to double check that one. But anyways, so this was Zach's presentation. He afterwards went on to have one of Ted's first books. So after this, the audition, we were on the same stage. We all had about 6 minutes to present at the TED at New York City, which is now called TED Salon, I believe. But Chloe will be breaking that down for you all next week. And then from there, he went on to the main stage to present his story and his presentation again, had a little bit more time to do it again. And then from there, it was turned into the first TED book. So Zach has really been doing a lot of speaking engagement, really kind of taking over the world with how to distill violence, even if it's something that people think that you were born with. right? There's this notion that you might be born into a violent family, or if you're born Muslim, like Zach was, that that you're inherently going to be a certain way. Not true. Okay, so that's part of Zach's story and Zach's audition. So y'all ready for some more? Yes. Somebody on Facebook mentioned that it's very unique. It's a very, very unique story, right? I definitely appreciate this comment, because one of the things that you'll notice about TED, and even everyday stories even, is sometimes people have really very unique stories. Very, very unique stories. The son of a terrorist. Many of us are probably not the son of a terrorist, right? But I'm going to show you another video that is very kind of common, a very common everyday experience. Okay, so give me a second here. Y'all feeling it so far? Y'all feeling it? Let's go ahead and get back to, let's stop that tab for just a quick second. All right, y'all good on Instagram? What's up, Terrence? I'm so glad they're here. All right, so let's go ahead and share the second video. Give me a second to pull up the tab, share the screen. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Terrence. I appreciate the heads up. Definitely be in touch. DM me. Let me know. I hope to see you next week for the Ideas That Ignite 5-day mini summit. It's going to be lit. It's going to be lit. So if you're interested in some of this stuff, hope you can join us live on the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group. Talk to you soon. Okay, so Facebook. This is Judy Carter. Judy is also a fellow storyteller, a fellow speaker, and she has a rather simpler message. So let me go ahead and take my face off of this so you can see the full screen. There we go. And here we go. This is Judy Carter's submission from 2018, Turning Problems into Punchlines. Here we go.
The world is a negative mess. I want to show you the secret of disrupting all of this negativity. I learned this growing up with my abusive father and my disabled sister, hoping to put all these pieces back together of my family. I went to the library and checked out a book on magic. My plan was to levitate my sister out of her wheelchair and saw my father in half, but not necessarily put him back together. So I ended up becoming a professional magician until one night my tricks didn't show up and I had to go on. So panicked, I talked about the mess I was in and people laughed. And in that moment, I truly understand what real magic is. It's the power of turning problems into punchlines. That's how you create real magic.
Judy Carter, turning problems into punchlines, right? Very cool. I'm gonna play this one more time, so you can kind of grasp the different things that we're talking about here. So keep in mind, what is the idea? What is the idea? Do you think that this was scripted or not? Why now? What kind of language was she using? And was she being herself? Okay, so one last Mogan.
The world is a negative mess. I want to show you the secret of disrupting all of this negativity. I learned this growing up with my abusive father and my disabled sister, hoping to put all these pieces back together of my family. I went to the library and checked out a book on magic. My plan was to levitate my sister out of her wheelchair and saw my father in half, but not necessarily put him back together. So I ended up becoming a professional magician until one night my tricks didn't show up and I had to go on. So panicked, I talked about the mess I was in and people laughed. And in that moment, I truly understand what real magic is. It's the power of turning problems into punchlines. That's how you create real magic.
Very, very cool, right? Now, the thing that I love about Judy's submission is how she was able to kind of like utilize almost like a prop that allowed and supported her message. So in this particular scenario, magic. She goes to the library. She's like looking for some type of solution to levitate her sister, you know, and to cut her dad in half because she's having all these problems. And she's able to actually find a way to turn this into something totally different, into punchlines, right? So you're right there with her, right? You want to watch her. So ironically, I can't find Judy's actual talk. Now, this is a question that I'm going to present to Chloe next week, because as many of you know, just because you do a TED Talk does not necessarily mean it's going to be published. So if you want to check out Judy's talk, you can go to Judy Carter TEDx, which is a different talk. But I'm not so sure where the actual video from this talk is. I don't know. I'm so sorry. But it was accepted. And that's kind of like the key thing, is that we first want to make sure that we get you onto the stages of TED or TEDx. And then hopefully like you knock it out of the park in a way to either be invited to the big stage or to be directly promoted onto the TED website, or whatever the situation that might be. Okay. So in my case, they didn't release my video for months. I don't even know how long it took. I can't remember at this point in time, but it was quite some time before I first put it onto my own website. They gave me permission to put it on my own website, and then they published it again under a different name, under a different title, I should say, a little bit while later. So these are some of the intricacies that we'll talk about, you know, next week when we bring Chloe up to the mini summit. But yeah, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff, right? So if y'all are feeling it, give me like an emoji, give me a thumbs up, give me a fire, a more fire, right? Woo! Because it is hot. All right. So we got one or two more to share with you. So first up, we're going to play, next up I want to say, is we're going to play Sally Cohn. Now, Sally's video definitely went viral, or something happened with this sister. I don't even know how to explain it. But let's get Sally's 1-minute video audition up onto the screen. Let's see here. Give me a second. So Sally's talk is how to change the world with compassion. Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. Sally Kohn, How to Change the World with Compassion.
I'm going to teach you the secret to being a liberal on Fox News, or really how to make it in any environment where you're the one who's different. My trick isn't a thick skin or an ideological dogmatism, or even just being bipartisanly likable, although I sure like to think I am. My trick is my uncle. When I was 18 years old, I came out to my family. My immediate family couldn't have been more supportive. My dad joined a gay car club. Who knew? And my parents even chaperoned a transgender prom. They were super supportive, even fanatical. Then there was my uncle, my mother's brother. When I was growing up, we spent a lot of time with them, especially around holidays like Christmas. They were very religious. One day, my uncle let it be known that he wasn't too keen on the gay thing. My parents exploded, and they didn't talk to my uncle for 5 years. Long before I debated politics with Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly, I learned to love the people I disagree with, the people I argue with, by finding the love for my Uncle Sid. In politics today, our culture is so fixated on what divides us, we lose sight of all we have in common, what we fear, what we all long for, what we all dream for our children. And let me tell you, starting there makes all the difference. I'm going to teach you this.
Whoops. Powerful stuff, right? Now, did you see a little bit more of Sally's story in this and how she actually kind of came about to this conclusion, right? How, her parents were really super supportive. The gay dad's bike club, who knew? But there was something more. There was something more to it. It was her uncle. It was her uncle. So I want to play with you one more time, Sally's video, so you can kind of catch some of these nuances. All right, so here we go, one more time.
Secret to being a liberal on Fox.
I forgot to mention. This was a couple years ago. So Sally was a correspondent on Fox News. So you can imagine being one of the only non-conservative pundits or commentators on Fox News, her being the only liberal voice. Now, a few years later, she was then hired onto a different network. I don't know if it was NBC or ABC or CNN or who knows. It was one of these other networks. Point being that she found a different tribe, in other words, after this talk, but that didn't take away from the message or what she was able to do afterwards. So I'm going to play this one more time and talk to you about what happened with Sally Kohn's journey with TED and beyond after she spoke on the stages with me in 2013. Okay, so one more time.
I'm going to teach you the secret to being a liberal on Fox News, or really how to make it in any environment where you're the one who's different. My trick isn't a thick skin or an ideological dogmatism, or even just being bipartisanly likable, although I sure like to think I am. My trick is my uncle. When I was 18 years old, I came out to my family. My immediate family couldn't have been more supportive. My dad joined a gay car club. Who knew? And my parents even chaperoned a transgender prom. They were super supportive, even fanatical. Then there was my uncle, my mother's brother. When I was growing up, we spent a lot of time with them, especially around holidays like Christmas. They were very religious. And one day, my uncle let it be known that he wasn't too keen on the gay thing. My parents exploded, and they didn't talk to my uncle for 5 years. Long before I debated politics with Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly, I learned to love the people I disagree with, the people I argue with, by finding the love for my Uncle Sid. In politics today, our culture is so fixated on what divides us, we lose sight of all we have in common, what we fear, what we all long for, what we all dream for our children. And let me tell you, starting there makes all the difference. I'm going to teach you the secret.
Starting there makes all the difference. Let me go back to y'all over on Facebook. Y'all feeling this? Right? So here we go with a woman who is a correspondent on Fox News and learning to love the people who she's debating because of her uncle who was not very keen on the whole gay thing, right? Now, the cool thing about Sally's journey, as I mentioned earlier, she went on and she ended up becoming a correspondent for another network. But in terms of her speaking career, she's done not one, not two, not three, but I think maybe four TED Talks at this point. At least three. Let's say three to be conservative, because I need to double check these numbers. But the people from TED loved her so much that she went on to the main stage, the big TED, then was invited back, I think a couple of years later, to do another talk, and then did another talk. So Devin, I know that we've had a lot of conversations about, like, how do I decide which one of these talks do I do now? Sally is a great example about choosing the ones that are timely, depending on what's going on in your life now, what's going on in the world now. And just to be able to know that you have a lot of different stories and a lot of different ideas. The key for your first round is just to choose one. Just go ahead and choose one that you think is going to, like, line up with what people are expecting, or it's going to line up with the theme of the event that you're pitching or trying to speak at. That make sense? That makes sense? Let me go over to my people. How y'all doing on Facebook? How y'all doing? Y'all digging these videos? Y'all understanding how some of these are put together? Are you seeing the themes, the thread? Let me go back to, like, some of the things that we're looking for. What are the things that we're looking for in these videos? So keep in mind that each one is about a minute. I'm going to play for you in a moment mine, which is about a minute and a half, which is about 150 words, right? So we want to keep that idea really simple, real clean. We want to be able to share a scene or some type of moment. So in Sally, we see her with her uncles. In Zach's, we're trying to figure out, like, who is he relative to his father? With Judy, we see her, going to the library and trying to figure out how to work magic, right? These are all, like, little moments, little scenes that we want to be able to share from your pitch. Why now? Why is it timely? Why is it relevant to what's going on in the world now? Sometimes it's more of a universal topic, and we're able to kind of look at news or other trends in terms of seeing, like, how we can kind of put a little bit of a spin on it. You'll see that most of these, they're all recorded in different ways. Some of them are scripted, some of them are not. Some of the recordings, you can kind of tell, like, with Judy, that she has somebody who's actually helping her, record it. So she's just focusing on the delivery. On mine, I just put my camera up on my bookshelf. With Zach, I think he did the same. So there's a couple of ways to think about scripting and recording. And everyone is using very clear language, right? Very, very clear language. And of course, they're all being themselves as well. Okay, so I want to, let's see here. We got about 5 minutes. Interesting. Okay, so actually, but I want to be able to jump into, like, how we can submit your ideas, and to, like, let's talk with you all just a little bit more, because here's what we're going to be doing. Next week, I am going to be doing an audit of your actual ideas. Okay, an audit of your idea. You, Facebook, you, Instagram. So this is how this is going to work. Next week, Wednesday, I am going to go through anybody from this group who is interested in submitting a 1-minute idea. Now, include all these different elements. Include, like, a little piece of your story. Include a little bit about the idea. Include a little bit of a scene. Like the things that we're talking about in this. Go ahead and try it out. Keep in mind, it does not need to be perfect. It probably is not going to be perfect. Please don't spend hours, don't spend days trying to put this together, because this is just going to be an exercise as we start to, like, get into more of the training for the Ideas That Ignite Mastermind, which is going to be our 9-week training program. Our 9-week training program, which is going to be kicking it off in October. The program is going to start on October 19th. So if you want to be able to work directly and elaborate upon these things even more, that program is going to be starting October 19th. The registration is going to kick off October 9th, which is going to be the last day of the mini summit next week. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. Put together a 1-minute video. If you have like anything that's on your mind, anything that you want to share, something that you want to be able to pitch, put together a 1-minute video. Go ahead and send that to me directly, either on my Facebook page or my on the Facebook group. In the Facebook group, go ahead and like just shoot me a message saying, hey, ready to submit my idea. I will send you my personal email address, and you can email those directly to me. And then let me know if you want it to be considered for the coaching on that Wednesday. So on that Wednesday, I'll be doing the same thing that we just did now. We'll be looking at a bunch of different submissions, looking at what can be tweaked, what can be better, leading into our finale on Thursday and Friday. Friday obviously being with Chloe. So that, my friends, are my tips for submitting your idea to TED or TEDx. Y'all feeling this? Y'all good? Y'all good? Cool. So I want to be able to open it up to questions. I got about 3 minutes before I got to log off of Instagram, but I'm here with y'all on the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group. Let me know any questions, anything that's coming up for y'all, anything at all. I am going to, it's hot. It's hot. You would still think that we're in the middle of summer. What up? How you doing? We are just about to wrap this up on the Instagram, but if you're interested in watching the replay, I'm going to be putting this up on both the Instagram and the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group. So let's see. Do we have any questions? Who we got in the house? Who we got in the house? The Instagram and the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group. Let's turn that all the way down. Let's turn that all the way down. Any questions? Any questions or comments? All right, I'm going to be signing off with you all over on Instagram. So good seeing you all. So good seeing you all. I'm going to catch you all soon. Peace. Go ahead and download video. Yep. And share. Yep. Great. Awesome. Take care of that in just a moment. I'm going to take off these headphones because it is inside of these headphones. It's like, whoo, sweat. Burning up. All right. Any questions, any comments, anything that's on your mind, anything at all? I'm super excited for y'all to be able to join in the mini summit that's popping off next week. Make sure that you come with your ideas, any type of comments, concerns, anything that's popping off, which will be leading directly into 1 week where I'll just be doing basically like a bunch of questions and answerings of what the mastermind is going to be all about. As I said, it's going to be about a 9-week program starting October 19th. October 19th is going to be our day to kick that all off. Registration beginning October 9th, which is going to be next week on Friday. We're here, y'all. We are here. We are in October. I have been waiting, just getting ready, getting all this stuff and prepared for y'all. So any other questions, any other comments? Let's see. Got the dog is kind of acting a little crazy over here. Woo. All right. So Let's see here. I've got a question. Should we research to make sure our ideas and our stories aren't similar to previous TED Talks? By the way, this is Maxine, just in case you can't see me. I can't see you, Maxine, but I'm so glad that you are here to leave a comment. So, excellent question. Yes. And the answer is absolutely 100% yes. You definitely want to be able to do some type of research to figure out who has talked about your topic before. Have people address this? And what angle have they shared in terms of their perspective? So, for example, say that you were talking about depression. Now, there's going to be a lot of TED Talks about depression, right? So you could probably pull up one almost every single year from various different TEDx events, right? But depression in the age of coronavirus is probably going to look and feel a little bit different, because never in the history of our lives have we been in a scenario where we're all kind of like stuck inside and don't have some of the resources that we typically would have in order to deal with depression, right? So what we want to do is we want to look at what's already been said about this topic, and what is your unique spin. Now, a lot of times your unique spin is going to be something related to your unique experience. So if you're able to think about, okay, what is this topic? And I'm going to be breaking down a lot of this in terms of like, how do you actually get to the idea? So you might want to be able to check back on, let's see, crafting and choosing and crafting your TED-worthy idea. We talked a little bit about this on August 27th. So if you want to go back into the media tab and check out that particular one, choosing and crafting your TED-worthy idea from August 27th, you might want to consider talking or looking at that. But essentially, Maxine, what you want to do is you want to look at some of these overlapping spheres. Okay, so who are you? Like, what do people know you for? In my case, people know me as a storyteller. They know that I'm a coach. People know me as a speaker. Some people might know me personally as a Trinidadian or as a twin, right? So what are the things that you are known for? What do you know a lot about, right? So who are you? What do you know a lot about? I know a lot about storytelling. I know a lot about just like communications in general, like in terms of like how to actually structure stories. I thought I knew a lot about equality, right? Because by the nature of being a twin. So who are you? What do you know a lot about? And what are the issues that you could talk about forever and ever and ever, amen, and not get bored? And not get bored. Because that's where you're going to be able to find like the iterations, the nuances. You'll be able to talk about this particular topic forever and find some type of angle that intersects with who you are, what people know you for, and what you could talk a lot about. Now, if you're able to kind of find where those three intersect, you'll be able to find your true voice in your unique idea. So definitely do the research, figure out like what other people have talked about this, what was their angle, and how by looking at these overlapping circles can you make it unique when you share your own particular story. Okay? Great question. So I'm curious to know, go ahead and put in the box or in the comment box, what are some of the ideas that you're interested in presenting? I'd love to hear a little bit more before like logging off. Just go ahead and put in the box, what are some of the ideas that you are thinking about sharing? I know from previous live streams, I've heard from Devin, from Regina, Christina. Let's see, Natasha, I think I heard your idea, but I need to double check. I know I got like a list of different people and ideas, but I know that some of them are still being like fine-tuned a little bit. So what's your idea? Max? I'm just gonna hang tight for a moment here. Get my agua, let it go down. Because as I said, it's hot. It's hot here today. And I see that there's somebody else online as well that's live with us, but I can't see any names. So I'm gonna give you all a couple of minutes just to go ahead and write whatever you want in the comments. I'm gonna see if I can check out who we got online. Let's see, who do we got online? Am I even able to see? I don't even know if I can see. Ah, okay, great. So, I believe this is Maxine. I'm really thinking about parenting. As a single Black mother during this virtual world and on the climate of racism while raising Black sons. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. So, I am very, very curious about what you have to say. Parenting, first off, is a huge topic. Parenting while being single is another whole other, set of complications. I'm sure, especially going into this century. But now with us, the entire world being virtual, and B, just like the racism that we've been seeing like popping up, of course it's been prevalent, but now it's almost like it's been emboldened, as they say, right? So how do you manage all of that? Gosh, just to go on a quick tangent for a quick second. Last week I was watching, yes, there we go, Maxine. Now I got your face, sister. Now you found the button. So, I was watching this video of this young man, 19 years old, Black man. He was being pulled over by a police officer in Elk Grove, California. You may have seen this video. And as he was being pulled over, it escalated. It just escalated really, really quickly. But the mother came outside the house because she heard that something was happening with her son being pulled over, told her son, step over here onto, as he was opening the door, the police officer starts like yelling at him, stay in the car. The son gets kind of frazzled. The mom was like, come here. So he goes to the mom and he's like standing on the property line of the mother. And the mom is going off. She's like, I am not going to have my son be a hashtag, go ahead and give him the ticket. And the officer refuses to give him the ticket, just kind of refuses to give him the ticket, just telling the son that he's detained, and calls for backup. And so there's like a 30-minute video of this police officer just waiting for backup, having this standoff with this Black family. All the meanwhile, she's wearing this mask that says Blue Lives Matter. And so there's a lot of tension that's going on. And, it just really got me thinking about what do we share? Like, I don't know that a lot of people know what Black families share amongst ourselves sometimes in order to try to ensure the safety of our children. So yeah, Maxine, I think that you're like onto like a solid point here. It's so relevant, specific to the climate of the world we live in now. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're so on with it. You're so right with it. And that is something that's timely. It's very timely in terms of like what we've been seeing in the news. But it's also not it's not a new issue. And a lot of the things that we'll notice is that these issues aren't necessarily new. It's just a matter of like, actually putting them into context of the now. Well, I like that. It may not be new, but it is for the now. But that might be my next tweetable, right? So, excellent. If you would like, please consider submitting a 1-minute video, and we'll bring it up on to the Ideas Ignite group next week. All right. So glad to see you as part of this group, Maxine. So cool. So cool. All right. Anybody else? I know we got a couple more people in this. I know we got some more people because I can see you. I see you, but I don't. I just see numbers. So anybody else who is out there? Who else is out there live? Who else wants to share an idea? You can either like just type it into the comment box, or if you would like, you can join me on the screen to say like me. Give me like a little hand and I'll invite you into the studio. Let me see if I can even get y'all. Try this one more again, one last time. Who else has an idea? Who else? So glad that you could join tonight, Maxine. So just as a heads up, if you would like to see, we had 10 weeks worth of different content. I shared with y'all what the wrap up was last week, but for those of you who are new, who this is your first storytelling tip Thursday, I'm gonna break down for you like everything that we've done over the past 10 weeks. We started this sucker back in July. And this is the last one for the time being, because next week we're going to have our summit. The week after that, I'm going to be having a masterclass on just like everything that's going into the mastermind. And then the week after that, we're going to start our coaching, our small group coaching. And the reason why I love, and I've been preparing like a crazy woman for this is because so much of what changed in my life was doing it in a group and doing it amongst other people who are on that same path. So I have been all about creating a community of people who are going to be on that same path. Okay. But if you're interested, in case you're interested, our first week, July 30th, how to find stories worth sharing. Now, July 30th, how to find stories worth sharing. August 6th, expansion and contraction. So like if you're going on for too long, how do you cut? If you don't have enough, how do you expand, right? Elements of editing stories. On August 13th, we have how to share like really mesmerizing moments. How do you really get into the scenes with your sensory details, sight, sound, taste, touch, smell? How do you actually create a moment so you feel like somebody is like on a journey with you? You're not just talking about a moment, but you're actually living it. You're breathing it. You feel me? I feel you. Okay. August 20th, we had mundane to magnificent, which is all about like finding like, like a lot of times somebody mentioned in the comment today that this is a very unique story, like, and it's very true. It's a very, very unique story, but we can also find amazing stories and amazing things to share from simple little moments in life. And I shared this simple little moment of moving back to California and my Sunday routine of shaving my brother. Why that was important, you got to check out the replay. So mundane to magnificent. August 27th, mind maps and formats, which is all about like understanding structure. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you have not already downloaded your Art of Storytelling and Leadership workbook, you're going to want to do that, because that particular week we talked about how do you actually like map out your stories. Now that all of the mapping out that you're going to want to have to do is in your workbook on structuring a story, as well as the story map. Okay, so if you have not yet downloaded your workbook, let me go ahead and put a little banner here on where to find it. I think I have one created. Here we go. bit.ly storytelling workbook. Okay, bit.ly storytelling workbook. So that's how you can look at the different things that are inside the workbook in terms of crafting mind mapping and formatting, mind maps and formats. Okay, and then on August 27th, we had choosing and crafting your TED-worthy idea. So for you, Maxine, I was kind of talking about those overlapping circles in terms of your expertise. In addition to that particular replay, might be really good to check out. How do you actually find and craft that idea? What is a through line? How to actually like use through lines to connect your story to an idea to like a call to action, right? Bring in all this kind of stuff together. Then we had on September 17th, the art of mobilizing masses and persuading the pessimistic. I don't know why I can't talk today. But that was all about like how do we actually like engage in a civil way. So like, like if somebody's not persuaded, if somebody's not convinced, how do you actually first break down what they're thinking and then build up a different reality, kind of take them on that journey with you, right? Number 9, which was last week, was don't get spooked. Memorization presentation techniques. So how do you actually present in a way that you feel comfortable? We talked a little bit about breath. We talked a little bit about slides. We talked about memorization, how to actually keep yourself on track. That was all last week. And today, 1-minute video audits as we prepare for the Ideas That Ignite 5-day mini summit. Okay, so mini summit is going to be popping off next week, the 5th to the 9th. You can go to ideasthatIgnite.co if you would love to contribute. Like I said, you can contribute anything that you want. $0, $50, $1,000, doesn't matter to me. This is all going back to our speakers. And you're already in the right place because we're going to be streaming it on the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group, right? So you're already in the right place if you would like to check it out. And we'll be here. So any other comments before I sign off for today? Any other comments? Any other comments? Okay. All right, y'all. Well, I am going to log off then. Thank you for joining. If you all would like me to cover anything else that is of interest, please let me know. You know I got your back every Thursday. So actually every Thursday for October and November, December, or part of December, will be dedicated to coaching specifically your stories, your ideas. I'm going to be bringing in some other speakers, some other coaches, just lots of solid content. So I'm really looking forward to everything that is going to be going on in the next month and a half or so in the Ideas That Ignite, page. All right. So y'all have been awesome. This has been a great session. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Make sure to check out the ideasthatIgnite.co if you want more information about what's happening next week. Invite your friends, bring them over to this group because we're just going to be sharing like a ton of knowledge. All the stuff that you're interested in is going to be in the media tab. Hit me up. Mondays, we have prompts. Tuesdays, we have like a bunch of different things going on. Wednesdays, we have watch parties. Thursdays are tips. Fridays, we get to celebrate. All right. So welcome if you're new to the group. Thank you for being here. And I hope to see you all next week in the Ideas That Ignite 5-day mini summit. Peace.